Okay, welcome to another week of Unturned Pages. Russ is in the background here trying to get his camera and things up and going.
It's going shortly. I will get it up and running here in a minute. I had to do an update on the computer earlier and the camera's not working.
Uh-oh. Don't you love those updates that, screw everything up?
Gotta love Macs.
Oh, yeah. That's a Mac for you. But tonight we have Austin Maynard, who is working with Nick Ruff on Deathwalker. He builds equipment. He helps run a few locations out in Ohio and Kentucky. So we're super excited to have him on. And when we pull him up, you'll see he's actually building a piece of equipment right now in front of us. So let's check this out. Hello.
Hello.
What are you building?
I cannot divulge that information. I will be honest. I really cannot. I shouldn't even be touching this right now. But I'm just going to take it away. Put it down there. I'm sorry. I hate to do it to you guys, but I gotta. Certain things I gotta keep on the hush.
Hush.
Well, that's not fair.
I bet you we'll see it. We'll probably see it on Deathwalker sooner than later, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I know he's used them before on Deathwalker, but nah. Yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of other projects that I've just finished up recently though. So I mean, I'm always working every day. Never stops.
I keep seeing you post pictures of boxes and equipment. I'm like, one of these days when I'll have money, I will buy something from him.
This is one I just actually finished up for Michael Angus. It's actually it's an old CB radio. And then it's got the.
I was just gonna say, was that an old CB Motorola?
Yep. Yep. I literally gutted this thing completely, except for the speaker, and I literally everything's just stacked on top of stacks inside of this thing. It was a pain in the butt, but I got it built.
Nice.
And the mouthpiece. This actually is a microphone. So the microphone will feed into the ghost box and come out the same speaker that the spirits do. So. Yep.
See, you're always building something new, so.
A lot of it is the same. It's the same thing, just different enclosure, right? I mean, that's really the most challenging aspect of what I do is just that trying to get. Hey, there we go. It's just really about trying to. It's really like a puzzle. Like every single piece is a puzzle because you got to know where exactly and how exactly you're going to. Like with this, I wanted to implement everything. Like I implemented the antenna. I implemented the two dials. Like one's the sweep rate, one's the actual volume.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'll be your friend.
Yeah.
But
now with something like that, do you worry about picking up other stations with the CB radios, or did you take that functionality out of it?
Yeah, I took the radio part completely out of it and put my own tuner into it.
Okay.
Just because it's a walkie-talkie is not it doesn't work the same way that a radio does, like an AM/FM radio. It's really more or less like you set it on one specific station to be able to transmit and receive through it. But with this, obviously, you're picking up broadcast transmissions. So, yeah, that's how you can make a ghost box work, is just broadcast transmissions.
Well, I used to work security in Columbus, Ohio, and
okay.
They definitely our radios definitely picked up the truckers going down 71 and everything down there. So it was always interference with the radios, and it doesn't matter how many.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Well, I took the luckily these tuners that I'm using are only this one's only FM, so I shouldn't shouldn't, right, is the key, get anything outside of like an FM transmission. But obviously, we wouldn't know while we're sweeping in a ghost box. I mean, unless you were like, because this is a transistor radio or voltage tuned radio, so like I can't like monitor what exact frequency it's on. But like if I had a digital radio and they could see it, and, like I never really worry about it though, just because I also kind of feel like if it comes through, it's supposed to come through, whether it's radio station or, you know what I mean? So whatever comes in is what's supposed to come in, and we're supposed to make of it what we want. You know what I mean? Or make of it what we will, I should say.
And that's what I feel like a lot of the ITC devices are about. Is it's open for interpretation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. It's that's really what the big thing is. Like all of this in the paranormal field is open for interpretation, if we're being honest. Like
Very true.
like you could like it's all subjective and perspective based. So like obviously something that might be evidence to you may not be evidence to me. Or I mean, that's a big thing really amongst paranormal field. Like, people with the orb pictures, right? I swear up and down that was a ghost.
Yeah.
They were there, but just because you show us a picture of something doesn't necessarily make it a ghost.
Now, here's the question here, and it's always a moral question, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna take a friend that just lost a loved one,
okay,
or feel like always says, "Oh, my grandmother's watching over me,"
mm-hmm.
and gets a picture that has a quote unquote orb in it. Are you going to be that guy to be like, yeah, that's really nothing? Or are you going to make them feel better and be like, yeah, that's them?
No, I'm going to ruin their night. And I hate to be that way too, because I don't like to give false hope. I don't want to give false hope to somebody who is going through an emotional time, and that's hard. And like, I feel like if I'm just telling them what they want to hear, like I mean, I guess I could do that, but I feel like that's worse than telling them that it's dust or,
it's
more
or less off a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
But I think that more or less part of the, I mean, and I know that is a fine line right there. That is a tough one because like you obviously you got to be cognizant, can be aware of that person's emotional state right now. And and how you portray what you're trying to say to them obviously is going to be a big factor too, because you don't want to be obviously like a dick about it, but you definitely don't want to give them some kind of, like I'm not going to tell somebody like, oh yeah, I think your dead grandmother is flowing around in the picture.
By your curio cabinet over there.
But at the same time, I may even, it's hard because I may even just be neutral about it, and I say, like, I mean, it could be. I mean, who am I to say it's not? I mean, I probably would end up just keeping my personal opinions to myself about it and just kind of, whatever they need, because at the end of the day, I would be more about support than I would be about the paranormal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you would sugarcoat it for them a little bit and kind of, make them feel better about the situation, but in the back of your mind, kind of like,
Honestly, I don't even know if I would like say yay or nay. You know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily like buy into it because like I don't want to like give them false hope, of course, but like at the same time, I'm not going to tell them that it's not. I'll just say, oh, it very much, it could be. It could be. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not. Like that's a big thing.
So it'd be one of those more or less like you look at the picture and go, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do that more or less. I mean, it would depend on the scenario, but yeah, most likely I would just kind of, interesting. I mean, it very well could be, man, and it's a nice thought. It's a nice thought to have that, and maybe she is. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of orb pictures, and in any other scenario you bring it to me, I'm gonna tell you no, it's dust. Like I don't care. I don't care what it was. It's dust.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, we got a couple questions already popping up in the chat room for you. From Darren. Okay. What's the most complicated device you've ever made?
Ooh.
Most complicated that you can talk about.
Yeah.
Well, there's very few that I can't discuss, but most of them I can't. I think that the most complicated one was probably, honestly, I would even say that shoot, I've done so many of them recently. I'm constantly building, so complexity is it can be defined, or it can be looked at from a different ways, because like complexity of the enclosure, I mean, this was a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. But as far as like the capabilities of the device itself, there was one I just recently did for a guy by the name of Matthew Sorg, and he sent me this old tabletop tube radio, and I actually made it have obviously the AM FM ghost box plus 2 PWM frequency generators built inside, going through a mixer into the same speaker, and they're controllable, so you can actually you know what I mean. And then it also has an RF spectrum analyzer. It has a remote monitoring system, or remote environmental monitoring system, which is basically like it will remotely measure. That one's a good one too. I like that one. Was fun. No, I did post pictures of it, of the one I did for Matthew Sorg, and that thing is a beast, man. That one is really cool too. I like that one too. I actually just recently sold that one. Tim Connor.
I was kind of go on your Facebook page, just trying to pull some of your recent ones.
The Matthew Sorg one. It's probably a couple weeks ago, maybe. But that one I feel like was one of my bigger challenges, just because of the amount of stuff that I ended up putting into it. Mm-hmm. But like the remote environmental surveillance system, literally would you put this sensor remotely somewhere, and it uses mesh network, so it'll just connect. Wow. And so it will monitor humidity, temperature, vibration, and so one other thing too. I think magnetic field. No EMF. Okay. No. I refuse to play along with EMF anymore. if I can avoid it, I will avoid it. But the whole idea though with this thing was that I could set it somewhere, and then I have a display that I could bring down to base camp and just watch it remotely. But this device he actually wants to use for a whole bunch of experiments. So wow. It does have all of that extra stuff. It's got the digital noise reduction DSP. It's got a couple of in and outs. It's got an antenna jack that he says that he's going to have. One of his psychic medium teammates, I guess, has a bracelet that can be connected with an antenna. Like it has an antenna connection, so they can run it into the antenna of the box, and they could have however long of an extension, whatever. I mean, I can get 100-foot extension aux cable for that, if they really wanted to. But I'm trying to think what else that thing has.
Well, we got another. I was just about to get to that one, Jenny.
What's been the most fun device to make and easy to modify later on?
Well, none of them are easy to modify. I'll just say that right off the bat, because once I get the devices built, I try to secure every piece, every part inside of it as secure as I possibly can. Just because obviously, I want it to be able to be a little bit durable. So that, because people, they're really not always the safest with equipment. And so especially with these custom built devices, you definitely got to be careful. You don't want to drop it. You don't want to, whatever. But, so the more durable I can make it. But that one right there, I think was probably one of the most fun I've had to do, just because I love I was figuring out a bunch of different things with it. And it was one I just kind of wanted to put together on my own terms. And I like that box a lot, honestly, but I want to do it again just a lot. There's some changes I would like to make. Like, I want to make the TV screen a little bigger.
So
Yeah.
they kind of just give you like hey, put in what you want to put into it and let your creativity run wild?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, they'll give me ideas of like something that they want to do, and I'll see what I can do to try to make it happen. Like, okay, here's a good example. Hold on a second. Hold on. So you guys know those these capacitors for cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a guy that wants me to figure out a way to measure the change in capacitance with a ghost box, like from the audio. And I mean, he wanted me to use one of these. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
That's a big. I mean, this
That's a
thing's
big
heavy.
thing.
It's heavy too, but it's got the digital readout, which was what was important. So, I don't know. I mean, I try to figure it out, but I love the challenges though. Like, that's, I think, what drives me more than anything is like being able to learn as much as I can. And so, like, and there's some things obviously that I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna touch that one because I have no idea and I don't have the time to try to learn and figure all that out. Or just because like somebody else has been doing it and I'm never gonna be one to step on another builder's toes. So.
Definitely.
So what is it like being the tech manager for Deathwalker?
It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun working with Nick, but it's also a lot of work. Like, I mean, when I was on the road with him, because like for season 4, I'm going to be in 11 episodes, and the first 10 episodes that I was like traveling around in New York with him for the first like 10 episodes actually. Well, we did some in New York, then we did like 4 in Ohio, I think 4 or 5 in Ohio. But it was like every day we would be either working from the time we woke up to like midnight, 1 o'clock. It's long days, and I was constantly just building. Like, I felt like I could not build enough for what we were trying to do, and always having to make sure that the experiments were ready to go, up and running. I started to realize though that I didn't need to do this extravagant thing like every episode, because I like started getting into that kind of mindset. So, yeah, I mean, it was just a learning experience, and I'm still learning, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what got you into the paranormal in the beginning? Like, what sparked your interest and what got you wanting to build equipment?
I mean, I've always been interested in the paranormal as far back as I can remember, but I don't think I was really into like hauntings or like ghosts until like I had a cardiac arrest at the age of 18.
Oh wow.
Sudden cardiac arrest, lethal arrhythmia, and they put like this. I have a device right here in my chest, an ICD defibrillator device. Basically, it shocks my heart if it ever goes off beat. And had it happen once, but thankfully it hasn't happened in like 10 years. Yeah, but that's really what kind of sparked my interest in like the afterlife, I guess, because I was in a coma for 3 days, and the more I think about it, the more I'm just curious as to like where was I, what was going on with my body, because obviously my body was there, but like physically I was not. Or no, physically I was, but mentally I was not. So
mentally you were not.
Yeah, right. So like there's that, that in between. It just made me really curious about all that stuff, and it made me really curious about like the psyche about it, like And not just so I was starting to look at all aspects of it, and so of course I started watching Ghost Adventures, right? Like half the people in the field, that's how they get started. And then I think my first experience, I went to like I did my first investigation was actually with Nick Groff, funny enough,
wow.
down at Bobby Mackey's back in like 2015 or 16. It was like right after he left Ghost Adventures, he started doing the Nick Groff tour, and we were doing an investigation in the basement of Bobby Mackey's, and I remember I got pushed like from behind, and my back was up against a wall in the room of faces, and so that like, yeah, I think that's what really like got me really passionate about it, and then it just kind of grew from there.
Bobby Mackey's and I have a very sordid history.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back and face my fears because I haven't been back there since 2011 or 12, I want to say. But it definitely it's a place I want to return to, but not. It's the return to prove myself something.
You'd probably be able to do that pretty easy at this point, just because, just like Waverly Hills, in my opinion, like it's been beat to death with the same damn questions, different, just like same thing, different faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of those guys that I believe that over time, the spirit's gonna get tired of telling people their name and how they died, and what you know what I mean. So I think at this point, like a lot of people that I know have been going to Bobby Mackey's within the last couple of years. I get more reports of no activity than I do of craziness, like it used to be. And I mean, that's the way a lot of locations were when they first opened up. Like all of the locations when they're first like untapped, right? Like there's only been a handful of teams in there that feel like that's when the spirits are excited, they're ready, but over time it just kind of dwindles down, especially if like, I mean, Waverly Hills has been around for what, like 30 years, 40 years, something like that, where people have investigated.
Do you think these spirits are just sitting in the corner going, "Oh, Jesus Christ, not again"?
Here we go
I feel
again.
like you would think that would be, I mean, I would get sick of it. I'd be like, damn, I'm going to take a couple nights off, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take
I'm tired of talking to y'all.
Watch these dum-dums, yeah.
Right. But I mean, I would imagine that, I mean, you got to think though, it's hard to like put yourself in that situation if you were a ghost, right? And I know that's how I try to like I try to talk to ghosts as if like, or if I like when I'm doing an investigation or something, like I kind of look at it as like, if I was a ghost, would I do this? I mean, so if I was a ghost, I would lie to every freaking person because they don't know who the hell I am. They won't know the difference. So I could tell them I was Jesus and what, you know what I mean? Like they would, I mean, and I think that I would play a lot of tricks. You know what I mean? I would be messing with people all the time. I'd be knocking. Hey, watch this. I'm going to go scare the shit out of you.
Jenny, I just had a brilliant marketing scheme in Austin. Don't steal this, or anybody listening.
Oh, God.
We need to start making bracelets that say WWAGD. What would a ghost do?
I like that.
And I bet you we could get Rob to make them for us.
That's a movement right there. That's a movement.
From Get Haunted? I don't know.
That's a movement.
I
like that.
We could sell those too. Great.
I won't take it.
The whole WWJD thing kicked off really big. So, I mean.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, Darren had another question. What are your feelings on making a Bible into a REM pod, or do you think that's taking it too far?
I'd do it. Of course, I don't like doing REM pods. I'd make a Bible into a ghost box or something. But like.
That would be cool.
That would be kind of freaking me out because it's like the whole thing is speaking to me through a Bible to begin with. Like that would kind of be just like,
I'm not
going to tell you
your box, okay? I don't know.
I'll be honest. I mean, I'm the type of guy that like I'm not afraid to do like, I'm not afraid to prick my finger over top of a Ouija board and do, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid because I'm an investigator. Like, I'm trying to see what happens. Everybody I know, and I've always been one of these guys that's like, yeah, I'm skeptical, right? I'm skeptical of a lot of things. And so, like, when people tell me all these crazy stories about, you know, what their brother's experience with a Ouija board was or whatever, you never actually hear about like adults doing, like, logical, skeptical adults doing a Ouija board session and having some crazy shit happen.
No,
like,
it's
I have,
always the kids messing around with it, and
or somebody, or you know of somebody's friend who did it and had a crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you never actually get to, like, I hear about it. Some investigators say that they have done it and haven't, you know, and like really had something happen to them, whatever. But like, I always take those with a grain of salt, of course. But like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because the whole idea of us, like, we have to try things to invoke a reaction, and you can do that respectfully. Just like, but we have to be willing to go to the extremes in a lot of cases because like everybody's telling us like, oh, don't do this. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Now, did you agree with the provoking methods of certain shows that I am not going to mention, but
We're not gonna
we
pull
all
around.
know what it is?
I don't think that provoking is necessary. I feel like, you know, respect is gonna obviously get you the most. I feel like provocation might be. I feel like it doesn't work. Like, really, honestly, like, I feel like if you're just going into somebody's place and you're gonna start talking a bunch of shit, they're probably. I mean, yeah, you might get a few that are pissed off, but then the rest of them are just, everything is gonna shut down. Like, you're not gonna get anything. So, like, I feel like there's certain entities that, you know, might be necessary. Like, if you're talking about like if there was a guy that was a rapist or something, right? Like, I mean, I'd be willing to go in there and poke and prod a little bit.
Yeah,
Not
kind
in
of
a
like
disrespectful way, but like
if you would,
call out kind of way.
That's not really
you would
provocation.
kind of go to
Yeah, that's not really provocation. That's more of a kind of leading them out.
yeah. So like if you were going to Juliet prison or something, you would kind of do that to kind of get those inmates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like what Zach Bagans does. Obviously, is for show.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm not gonna like get into a whole thing, but like what they do on the shows like that, it's really, I mean, it's situational. I mean, if he feels comfortable doing it, then I mean, you get what you're gonna get. Like, if you get hurt, that's on you.
Yeah.
We'll see, and that's the one thing I've always said is, you know, it is a situational thing because like there have been situations where I've had a team in a location and one of my investigators has been attacked, like physically attacked, like scratch marks, you know, to the point we had to take them off the floor of the location. And me as a team leader, I went back up there myself and was like, all right, look, if you're going to attack anybody, you're coming to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't attack somebody else. Like you're come at me.
Well,
You know,
I don't.
but they never
really,
will.
I don't really see that as provocation. I see that as like defensive mode kicking in.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was like that time I went to that bridge in Gettysburg, the Saks, and was scratched. I was pushed. I had a rock thrown at me. I was taken off the land. I was put in the car, basically. Time out, you know, by a friend, and she went back and was like, nope, we're not doing this. You attack her, you attack me. And we went back the next night, almost the same.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, not doing this place again.
Yeah, and that's not, but like he said, that's not necessarily provocation as much as it is just like standing up for yourself or your teammate. But I think like provocation is more or less like you
Come
are,
out here, you asshole.
well, like you're trying to invoke a response, and the problem is like usually that's a I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss or not, so I will.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. It's kind of one of those fuck around and find out moments, in my opinion. So, like, you know, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have one of two reactions: either you're gonna fuck around and find out, or you're gonna shut down the entire place. Like, do it at your own risk.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You go into the situation. If you have the balls big enough to go in there and as you said, fuck around and find out, then don't be surprised what happens to you.
Yeah, and that's like I have no sympathy if somebody gets their ass whooped and their legs scratched up or something. Like,
people are like,
you
"Oh my
wanted
God,
this. Like, this is what you want.
Asked for it, so
This is what you wanted."
I can't believe this happened to me. Why did this happen? And you're like,
duh. There you go. Darren has another question. What has been the most outside of the box tactic you have done in an investigation that you can talk about? Because I know you've been filming with Nick.
You have been filming and nothing has been released. So what you can talk about?
Yes.
Man, I've got a lot. Like that's the hard thing. It's like everything I do is I really focus on strictly just being outside of the box. I know the ghost boxes they're right there on the box, but like, you know what I mean? They're just us. They're not, but outside of the box, I mean, I've done things with like lasers that, like laser audio transmission. I love that. You know, me and Katie Stafford, of course, you know, we're best friends. So I do a lot of the ghost helmet stuff, which is Katie's version of the God helmet or the Persinger helmet. And I love plasma, like Jacob's ladders, Tesla coils. I love that stuff. High voltage is really cool. I love the TVs. I mean, the TVs are some of my favorites, actually. And I know that people don't really buy into them the same way, but like, I think it's awesome. I mean, you're literally sweeping the VHF, UHF frequencies, and you got the static image on the screen sweeping with it. It's like, this is literally a visual and audio ghost boxer.
Yeah, definitely.
So do I have 7 days if I see the image before something happens?
No. It's like, I mean, it's one of those things like literally like as you go through. But what I do, you know, that burst shot on your camera phone?
Yeah.
Or on your phone's camera, that burst shot where it takes like rapid fire pictures.
Yeah.
Like I'll just put that over in front of the screen, just take I take 100 photos and then just kind of scroll through each one. And I mean, I've captured words, I've captured faces, like, and I'm not talking just like a shape or something that could be like, I'm talking like everything else. This is in stark contrast to the rest of the static in the background. It's like, it's crazy.
I was making the joke that I didn't want Samara crawling out of the well, and I had 7 days before, you know.
I feel okay. I get what you said. That just right on my head. No, but I mean, I love outside of the box, man. That's like everything I do. Like my whole focus for the entire time I've been into the tech stuff has been outside of the box, pushing the boundaries. Like I don't own a single piece of equipment from ghoststop.com or any of those things that you can buy on any of those websites. Like all of my stuff is custom built, small time builders. Or, you know, it's like everything. I own like 35 ghost boxes, none of them made by me. I love like all of them you would have to get from the small time builders. Like I love outside the box. Yeah. Everything.
I would love to own a portal box. That is the top thing I want to get is a portal box. Like I have the spirit boxes. I want a portal box like Nick has. Like that thing, those type of spot boxes are the ones I want. Like that is what
Geoport, like a Geobox, Geoport.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, those are cool.
Austin, make me one. I see you next week.
Well, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not one of those. I don't like pedals. I really don't. I'm not a big pedal guy, and I think that like
Nick uses have a pedal.
Yeah, the Geoport. Yeah, okay. That's one that George Brown built, and I mean those things run you like $2-3 grand.
I know
those like that, but
Jenny, like, what else is saying? He's not one of those fuck around to find out kind of guys. So
see,
I just don't like to do things that people have been doing for a long time. So like, I mean, the portals. I mean, I was around when Huff started using the portals way back in like 2015 or something. You know,
Yeah.
Like back when Andrew Openlander was building the Andes boxes and everything, like that was when I got into ITC. So I mean, I remember the portals, but the portals are so at this point, it's like a decade old. So like I don't like to go backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, so what do you think about all the new ITC apps that are out now? You can get on your phone, your tablets, things like that. Your Echo Box, your
Austin does not like
your things like that. I mean, this is an open show. As long as we don't call out names, it's perfect. But you can have your honest opinion about it.
I am normally not an app guy. I don't like apps just because I don't like the phone, relying on the phone to retrieve data.
Yeah.
I don't like the computer aspect of it. I guess, in my mind, the simpler the better. However, I have been working on something specifically for Deathwalker, and I can't talk about it yet, but I hate to say it.
On the tip of his tongue, and he can't say anything. It's killing him.
I'm only bringing it up because it does incorporate an app, but it's not. It's not the focus of it.
Everybody look forward to a new app that Austin hates that he's working on for Deathwalker. Okay.
Well, the good thing is that I don't want like the app that we're working on actually coincides with a device, like a piece of hardware that actually picks up a unique, like it's actually something that there's only one other instance in existence that I've actually been able to like, at least as far as I know, that I've been able to like see that somebody else has done this, and the reason I'm doing it is because I learned that from them. And they recently passed, and I feel like nobody is trying to take the initiative to keep his work going. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's kind of doing him an injustice.
So you're kind of carrying on a homage, almost, so to say.
Yeah, and I actually we actually named the device in honor of the devices that guy was building.
Okay, mum is the word. We'll end that one right there.
We'll see you in season 4, Deathwalker.
Well, luckily, unfortunately, that one we're not going to be able to use until season 5 when we start filming that. So it's been it's been in the process for a long time. So,
well, you know what? It just seems like, every time I see on Facebook, you guys are just pumping out episodes, and you're here and you're there and you're everywhere, and it's just insane.
Well, Nick and Tessa are for sure.
Oh,
yeah, I don't travel around with them typically. Like when they're doing their their Groff Adventures thing, when it's just Nick and Tessa, they'll do that, on their own. I don't have any involvement in that. Deathwalker, I'm only involved, I'm involved when they're filming, and that filming time is like 2 months at a time.
Yeah.
So like they'll go to 20 locations within like a 2 month. No, I guess it's like a 10 locations in a month. Which is 3 locations or 3 days per location. So
I know you were at one of my favorite locations. And,
Malvern?
What's that?
Malvern Manor?
Nope.
No, I haven't been there yet.
Rolling Hills Asylum.
Oh. Yeah. That was a cool place.
Favorite locations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's gonna be a badass episode.
Mum is the word, and you're like over there like, I want to say something.
We'll just have to get him back on after season 4.
Rolling Hills, I've been going there for probably 12 years now, and that place never disappoints.
I'm going.
No, the building itself was amazing. Like I mean, I really like what we had happen there, and what we actually did there, like leading up to that episode, was like honestly one of the most insane challenge. Like every possible like wrench that the universe could throw in our gears, it was doing. They're like JW came out, right? JW Prather, he came out to Rolling Hills to do this, to help us with this experiment. And I can't divulge the details of what we're going to be talking, what actually happened, but or like what the experiment was. I have to just keep it mum, but
Yep.
But I mean, that was, but like what happened there and like what we did there was just something that was, I mean, really like mind blowing in a lot of ways. And so, I mean, honestly, I'm so excited to be able to see this episode because I'm hoping that it'll be the premiere episode that they show on October 14th. I'm hoping.
And hopefully
right,
we'll
so
see it sooner or later.
All right, so give us Jenny just tossed up a graphic here of
Not 2022. Sorry, you didn't make a 2023 graphic.
Yeah, that one is, that's old. We're missing a couple on there actually too. So
all right, so and I told this to Jenny, and she's like, "Oh, it's a sign." I'm originally from Ohio myself.
Mm-hmm.
I always think Ohio boys. Like this is Ohio theme this month. I swear.
You're out there running some great locations in Ohio, and trust me, I am very well versed in Ohio locations. So some of these I have heard of, some of them I have not.
Okay.
So tell us what you do with this, helping run this with the what is it, the Paranormal Underground
Paranormal Network.
Yep.
Yeah. So like back in 2018, actually, I'll take it even further back than that. In 2017, we started running the Higginsport School down in Higginsport, Ohio. We started doing tours and ghost hunts out of there. We had Nick and Paranormal Lockdown come out for season 3. They filmed an episode there. But that kind of like started this passion in me for these locations, like helping and running the ghost hunts and helping to keep these locations as preserved as we can. And when I moved from the Cincinnati area up to where I'm at now, which is in Bryan, Northwest Ohio, I just noticed that a lot of these locations, like a lot of these buildings in the area were very historic, untouched, like they were just being used as storage. And so like my dad is a Williams County historian, and he's been one for like 40 some years. And so I grew up like with this passion for history and this historical architecture. Like they don't make them like they used to, and that is not a bullshit statement. But so like when I started looking around at the buildings, like the Williams County Jail, the old sheriff's department in Bryan, like that had been sitting empty since 2014, and the owner, well, it wasn't empty because the owner was using it for storage, but I just noticed that there's a lot of these places that have a lot of crazy history that nobody's ever heard of, nobody knows a damn thing about.
Yeah.
And every single one of those buildings on there is like, I put those on the map. We put those on the map. That one's one of our new ones. Because nobody's ever heard of St. Henry, Ohio.
I've never
You've heard of the Wendelin?
I've heard of the Wendelin. Actually, it was on my list to go because I did hear the history of it, and it was kind of like one of those. I sat down with my team in Ohio, and I was like, "All right, do you want to go to an unknown location, or do you want to go to somewhere that's already been done?" And it was taken over by doing OSR again for the 5th time.
I was surprised because like they've never actually, like there was nobody ever even had any idea of it being haunted until, because like there was a previous building there that burned down, and then that one was built, and it was actually originally the Wendelin, and then somebody else bought it and made it something else. It was like a general store or something. And then the current owners rebought it, renamed it the Wendelin 2.0, and now it's a restaurant, a little hall there. But
our historian that we had was very like into not your Waverlys, your Talas, your OSRs, your Rolling Hills. They were into more of the back. And I hate to say this about Ohio, but your backcountry road kind of places that no one's ever heard of. And, that, like you said earlier, that were untouched.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these the ones that we've found, I mean, I've had a couple of them, like, okay, specifically the Wendelin and the Murphy building. Like the Murphy building is easy enough to realize why it's haunted. I mean, it's in Maysville. I mean, the place was built in like, God dang, I can't even remember. It was like the late 1800s was when it was actually built. It was a general. It was like a 5 and 9 for a long time.
Yep.
Nobody had any idea about it until one of the owner he contacted my teammate Mike, and he I guess like he said like, oh, we're having all kinds of crazy stuff happening out here. Can you guys come out and check it out? And then they worked with the owner and we got it onto the network. Because I mean, they're really like, yeah, I've been down there too. It is kind of wild out there.
No,
like, I was not even expecting it, but like the Wendelin, like I honestly, I could not find anything history wise specifically about the Wendelin. I know that Fort Recovery was obviously part of their Civil War era. No, it was even before that. It was Revolutionary War. Yeah, so General Anthony Wayne, I know that he went up from Kentucky up through Ohio, and he passed. It's weird actually because if you follow the path of General Anthony Wayne and his army, they travel through I think 3 or 4 of the locations that we have.
Oh wow!
Like, so he traveled along the Ohio River.
Yep.
Down near the Broadwell Funeral Home. Traveled up through St. Henry, Ohio, the Fort Recovery, Ohio. Well, it was really Fort Recovery that they traveled through, but the thing about St. Henry is that it's even though it's like 5 miles down the road, and it's just a country road, but they're literally right next to each other, but the actual towns themselves are quite a ways apart. But the thing that's weird is that like St. Henry, I mean, that was all Native American land.
Yep.
And they actually did fight several small battles between Native Americans and General Anthony Wayne's army. They had these like it was almost like just these guerrilla type,
skirmishes.
Yes, but a lot of Native Americans died and a lot of soldiers died. I mean, obviously, when I say a lot, that's subjective because a lot is not like Gettysburg a lot, like, but you know what I mean. But like you think about St. Henry. I mean, St. Henry, that was probably where the Native Americans were settled.
Probably.
Like, think about this. Like, all of those warriors that came from those tribes that went to go fight, they had families.
Yep.
They had lives back in there. And all that just gone because of this dude and his army coming up through Ohio. But, okay, but that's just one of the small things about it. But then he goes up through Van Wert area.
Yep.
Through Van Wert, Middle Point, Delphus. He actually travels right up through there. Travels up through Defiance, Ohio.
Yep.
At Fort Defiance, which is where we have the Auglaize Village Museum. Mm-hmm. And actual plenty of Revolutionary War, Civil War, and other items inside the military museum on the site, which is actually housed in old POW barracks from World War One. And then he went over toward Toledo, but he passed right through the Bowling Green Rudolph area to get over, and that's where like you got Anthony Wayne, but like Anthony Wayne Trail goes through Fallen Timbers, and that's where that Battle of Fallen Timbers is actually right there between Bowling Green and Toledo.
Yeah.
So and Bowling Green, just south of Bowling Green, is Westwood. And unfortunately, we don't run Westwood anymore just because the owner's son-in-law decided to move into the second floor.
Oh,
good luck, bro, but have fun with that. But I mean, like, it's crazy because even when he went up into Michigan, he was up in the Detroit area, and at one point we were running the Detroit 6th Precinct building. And I don't know if that's just like weird coincidence. But it just seems so weird. And it's like our locations kind of like travel. They're just like lined up weirdly perfect with Anthony Wayne's army.
And you know what? I always hate this quote, and I always hate to say it, but everything happens for a reason.
See, and I'm one of those guys that I don't believe that, but I think that certain things happen for a reason, but I don't think that everything does. I think that free will kind of throws a wrench in that, but I do believe that it is a weird thing. Like there's got to be some reason.
behind it.
Yeah, like I think there is some intent behind that, but I guess it's hard to tell what the universe has in store.
Yeah. Well, I think Destination Fear was in Defiance at the school.
Yeah, at the old junior high building.
Will that ever be open for investigations, or is the city like, hell no, you're not doing that?
It is very difficult. Although, I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked to the mayor in almost 6 months, 7 months maybe, and it's not because I haven't tried, because I have. I mean,
Bonded.
I really don't know. I mean, I know that they have a plan that they have to follow with the school building. Like when they signed the agreement to purchase the building from the school itself, like there were or from the school district or board, whatever. There were stipulations that they had to adhere to, and some of those were like that the building had to remain. Well, they had 5 years to find a developer for the place. And then on top of that, the building had to be used in some form of educational fashion.
Well, the paranormal could fit in that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could tell that to their attorneys. I don't know if they would.
Probably not.
The city attorney was working really hard. I mean, the city attorney, Sean O'Donnell, the Defiance city attorney. I mean, he's great. I mean, he was working with me as much as he could, and we were figuring out ways to bend, but without breaking anything.
Now, here's the thing. You can fit the paranormal into educational system because they would not have created the Ryan Institute, which started at Duke University in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, if there wasn't a parapsychology course. Therefore, it is educational, and there are people who have graduated with degrees of parapsychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not what we're doing.
But I'm just trying to help you out here, bud.
I know. I mean, as much as I love the building, it's really. I mean, they had 5 years to find something to do with it, and the last thing that they were wanting to do is do this. And I think that the having Deathwalker there and then having Destination Fear there, I think that it probably didn't draw the attention that they wanted. Because I think that Destination Fear kind of, I don't know. I was disappointed by the episode, not by the way that they investigate, but I think like
the thing overplayed it.
No, I think that they misinterpreted certain things, and I think that they portrayed certain things in a darker way than I think it really was. But the story of the janitor is absolutely true, and all of the speculation surrounding it was reported in multiple articles over a period of, and I mean, it was very, very detailed in their articles too. Like they were not shy about, everything that the janitor was saying, including that he thought the superintendent was gay and that he caught him in a classroom in a compromising position with another staff member. And you're talking about it wasn't even that early. It was like 1895 or something like that. So in 1895, if you were to call somebody gay,
that was
like that. Those were dueling words.
In the 1600s, saying somebody was a witch in Salem.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe not that bad, but like it was dueling words. Like you, like you're taking 10 steps, I'm taking 8 type of deal.
Yeah.
Because like that's like your reputation on the line, and so like the superintendent in 1895, of course, they hold a really high position of power within the city, because like back in the day, that's what it was. It was like they were a major player in power, and so having something like that on your resume, you know, it was bad. But like the janitor, like the worst part about it is that Janitor Mall was actually murdered. Like, I mean, he was beaten, he was like strangled, he was the thing, and then they like laid him across the railroad tracks, and his legs were like cut off by the train.
Oh Jesus!
But the crazy thing is that he was still alive when they found him, or no, he was still alive when they laid him on the tracks.
Well,
And
I'm
then,
assuming after the train ran over, the blood loss and trauma would have kind of.
and that's when they found him. Like, was like that. And so like, but the superintendent was never charged. He was never like, nobody was ever convicted of his murder.
So it's kind of one of those, let's just brush it under the rug kind of things. It never happened. We don't know what happened, and we're gonna leave it at that.
Well, in the superintendent's mind, he was a problem that needed to go away.
Yeah. Well, back in those times, it was kind of like
it could happen.
You could deal with this.
People won't say a damn thing either. They'll just keep their mouth shut because that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Now we're coming up to one of Jenny's favorite parts of our show.
All right.
Let's talk about the next event he's going to be at. I don't know if you're going to be at any events before this one, but Great Lakes Paranormal Conference on September 22nd to 24th up in the Sheboygan area. You'll be doing investigations at the asylum. Are you excited to finally hit that place up?
I am very excited to hit that place up.
I know. I think it's on everybody's like wish list of hitting up.
I know, and it's really hard to get in there just because of the rules and the price ranges that there's like, it's a lot for the. Talking to Craig, it seems like the owner has made it as difficult as he possibly can to allow for investigations. I mean, the fact that they were able to get Destination Fear in there apparently was like,
and Kindred Spirits,
right?
Like,
but those are TV shows. Those are TV shows, though, and that's different than just your normal average paranormal team going in there, right?
Yeah.
And to the owner, that's big bucks.
Yeah.
But you're not going to make any big bucks if you're
not letting people in.
Yeah, but no, this will be fun. I'm excited because this is one of those places that I have been wanting to check out. Like, I was excited when we checked out Indiana State Sanatorium
for the first time. Amazing.
Oh yeah, we were there. We were one of the first teams to investigate it. Like, I made sure to book that shit as soon as possible. And they had a BMX, like a motocross.
Yeah.
Like, they had a motocross event the first year that they got it. They had this big motocross event, and then the very next day that after the motocross race was when we went in.
Nice, yeah.
And so,
once.
I thought that place was off the charts active for us. Like, I even captured a disembodied woman's voice on the the fifth floor. No, it was the fourth floor.
Or
the fourth floor of the mental hospital where the violent women patients were.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there last year just for a day tour, and that place is so big, but so active even during the day. I'm like, this is a place I want to come back and investigate at night. I'll probably get lost again, but yeah.
Oh man, one of the cool things we did, like when we were there, because the mental hospital is 5 stories.
Yep.
And so we decided we were going to go one person per floor. And so I went on to the 4th floor violent women's ward because earlier in the night we were doing a session in there. We were hearing this woman talking, and we had no idea where it was coming from. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go spend some time in there. Mm-hmm. And the violent men's ward on the 5th floor, we had our new teammate. I made her go up there because welcome to the team, right?
Welcome to the team. Throw you through the walls. Have fun with it.
You're going to be around me. I'm going to make you do some shit that's going to be uncomfortable.
So I'm looking forward to the investigation next month with you at the asylum then.
Yeah. Well, no, for the public, it's different than my private team investigations, but
you can throw me to the wolves. I don't care.
I'll bring some toys out. Like, that's what I do. I'm gonna bring all kinds of cool toys out for people to see. I'll set up some lasers. I'll set up some, different things. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do, but it'll be fun.
Jenny's not necessarily fresh meat, but she's up for anything, and I've seen her power through some good things.
Oh yeah.
Well then, why would I want to put you in that? I want to put the person
me.
who's most nervous. Because that's boring to watch. Somebody who's brave.
All right, Jenny.
Like I'm brave, but I'm also psychic medium, and when I do like the SS method, I go into a trance, so I get really into it, and let's just say spirits just kind of do their own thing at that time. But yeah.
But we'll see what the situation calls for when it comes.
Yeah, I'm super excited to meet you that weekend. It's a great weekend, I think, with this huge lineup of people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it'll be great. I'm excited for it. I've met Sherry. I've met Sarah. Me and Sarah get along.
Add Shane Pittman to it, you'll be fine.
Oh, Dave's a great guy too.
Oh yeah, during investigation.
Okay.
Game on with him.
Okay.
Jenny, you know what questions are coming up.
Yep. Go ahead.
Come on. You love these questions because it puts people on their toes.
Let's put Austin to his toes then.
All right. So we'll start with the first one. You have 5 locations anywhere in the world, no travel expenses whatsoever. Where would you want to investigate? Anywhere in the world. Besides the motorcycle going down my street right now.
Does it have to be in any particular order?
It does not.
Okay. Poveglia Island in Venice, Italy. Auschwitz.
Thank you. Finally, someone.
No, I would almost be like, I imagine going into Auschwitz, like I almost would be afraid, or not afraid, but I almost feel like I shouldn't fucking talk. You know what I mean? But I would love to go in there and try to get their stories, because I mean, there's how many? Either that one and what was it, Kindernacht, and Dachau.
Yep.
For the other one.
All right, so we'll bulk all those 3 together because those were all
concentration death camps. Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to do
kid glove with that one. Then you're just like, oh, I got death camp. Okay, cool.
The Paris catacombs.
Okay.
Loftus Hall in Ireland, and maybe. So I would be inclined to do either Vlad Tepes's castle, like the one that he actually impaled people at.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of it is in ruin, but like, because I know he had like 2 castles, multiple castles, whatever. But
right.
But I would love to do either that one or Elizabeth Bathory's castle ruins as well.
Mm.
I've
never heard.
Elizabeth Bathory. I mean, you know who Elizabeth Bathory is?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's like think of Vlad Tepes, like she was like bathing in these women's blood.
Yeah.
Like
let's talk about gruesome.
So 2 of the answers I always bring up to guests for my own personal choices, and it's had mixed responses. I would go to Auschwitz, which I'm so glad you're the first person actually on the show to say that.
First to say that.
Very first. Second one would be Chernobyl.
How many people actually died in Chernobyl, though?
Quite a few.
Was there?
Yeah, because they didn't get the city evacuated in time.
Well, but did they die in Chernobyl, or did they die later on due to radiation poisoning? That's the question, I guess.
It could go either way, but you have that.
I think Pripyat would probably be more. Pripyat is probably more haunted than Chernobyl is, just because the Pripyat people didn't think that they were going to get affected either.
Bam.
Yeah, they stayed in their homes. They just like they had no idea. Whatever, right? Yeah, Pripyat would be a game.
So the second question I got for you, and Jenny loves this one.
I love the answers people give.
I know. All right. So there are a couple stipulations to this question.
Okay.
So you have to assemble a team of 5 investigators, including yourself. So that's 6 investigators to make your dream team. Now, the stipulations are they can be fact or fictional characters. So you could go Ed and Lorraine Warren, which couples are bulked into one choice. Or you can go like Sam and Dean Winchester, bulked into one choice. Fact, fictional. Living or dead.
My partners, Mike and Eric.
So that's
Not
one.
good.
Yep.
Is that one? Because
Yep.
they're okay.
That's one because they're on a team together.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah. Okay. KD Stafford, JW Prather, Stephen Katie Halte, and then probably Nikola Tesla.
Thank you, Christ. Somebody actually said that one for once. I knew you were going to go with it when you were talking about the Faraday cages and everything else and the Tesla coils. Like I knew you were going to go with Tesla when I was going to ask this question.
I had the privilege in season 3 of Deathwalker, the very last episode, the Adams Power Plant house in Niagara Falls.
Oh.
So that because that was the first place in the I think it was actually the first place in the world to implement Tesla's capacitor design, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And so like that was just really cool to be able to go inside there and film. But what was great, I don't know if you guys saw the episode or not, but
yeah, I have. Yeah.
So like the idea, Nick wanted to somehow be able to immerse himself in electricity. And I was like, okay. So the only thing I could like find anything on was, David Blaine's, where he had the chainmail suit and he's like getting electrocuted by these giant ass. Yeah. So I ended up getting a chainmail suit for Nick. And Steve Halte, he came out on site too to help out with the experiment. He brought Steve Halte has this like 3-foot tall Tesla coil. That thing gives out like, I don't even know how much voltage, like 75K to 100K. Like it's an insane amount of voltage coming off of these things. And so like, I mean, if you saw the episode, then like the whole idea was that I had to do a lot of research on the electricity because I didn't want to kill Nick, right?
Yeah. That'd probably be that's a bad show. If
I think that would be a horrible thing if I killed Nick Ruff. Oh my god! Let's not. No. Okay. So I was like, no way. I'm not gonna let that happen. Right?
It would literally become Deathwalker. Literally.
I would have a worse reputation than Steve Huff, and I would have worse.
Nick Groff.
Yeah,
that's the asshole that killed fucking Nick Groff, man. I would have a worse reputation than Ryan Buell.
Ryan's brought his reputation up.
He has.
I would agree with Steve Huff.
Ryan has done a lot. I have noticed he's done a lot to improve his image, and I know he went through a crazy bad time in his life. I
saw him a couple years ago at the Warren's Paracon here in Connecticut when they did it, and I could definitely tell from when he was going through that bad time,
right?
How he is now, and the interaction he's definitely kind of really.
And that's props to him for being able to get the help that he needed and overcome those things. And, like that that's amazing, and seriously, that's great for him.
Not many people pull themselves out of that.
But yeah, so, anyway, back to the, so like I had to do all this research. So I ended up getting like Nick, these gloves that had the grounding, like the tabs on it so that you could connect it to a ground wire. Or connected to the ground port in an outlet. And I had two of those. I had the chainmail suit. He had he actually went to the mall and like had me on the phone. Like, okay, I'm at the shoe store. Like, what, you know what I mean? So we made sure we got leather boots, like actual leather boots for the ground. And then I had this grounding mat that I plugged in to an outlet. It was just like, the ground port and an outlet. And so like we were doing. I mean, Nick was catching it up here at his arm in the sleeve, the voltage, and like where he was standing, the bottom of his chainmail suit when it was hitting, it was like dragging on the mat, like it started sparkling on the mat, and like you could actually see like there were burn marks around it.
Oh my god!
But okay? So this is the craziest thing, and you won't see it. You wouldn't hear about it. You wouldn't see it on camera, but. Before we did the experiment, he was like scared, of course, right?
Of course. Hey, I'm gonna electrocute you, so don't worry about it though.
So I decided that I'm gonna have to be the test dummy here, right? But I didn't put on the chainmail suit. I just used the grounding gloves, and I mean they worked enough. But okay, so I caught it in my right hand, right, and the wire right here caught on fire. It started smoking, and there was actually flame on it, and so I unplugged it, just like threw it on the ground, and so I was like, oh shit, okay, and so I had Steve over there pressing the button to make it start doing the plasma, and so I just started like just taking the voltage into this glove that wasn't grounded to anything. I just started trying to but I did it, and it kind of gave Nick a little bit more confidence. Like, okay,
And Jenny, that explains the interview tonight.
Yep.
I mean, it was probably a bad idea considering that I have the device, and
I mean. What? I'll be the first to admit I've done recreations where I hung myself at a location before. So I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, you take it for the team, I guess. Right. the way I saw it was like, well, we have to do this. Like, Nick, this is what you wanted to do, and I understand the concerns, and so I was just like, well, if I do it, I'm okay. Then you can do it, and you'll be fine with the
Knoxville of Deathwalker. That's what you are. You are the test dummy. You were the Steve-O, the Johnny Knoxville of Jackass to what Deathwalker is for Nick and you. And in
that moment, I would say, yeah. In that moment,
give you props for
that. I appreciate it. I mean, it was exciting and nervous, and I was scared at first because I was like not expecting, and then the wire catching on fire. It's like, oh shit.
Sometimes you got to react the way you need to.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it made for a great episode. I do wish that we would have done that experiment earlier on in the hunt, because I think that we ended up like finishing with it instead of because I thought it might have been cool to try to do it and then investigate, because now you've actually put yourself
all that energy in you. And
well, not only that, I mean, the whole idea was to reach out and try to get Tesla to come through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so now you're immersing yourself in a device that Tesla designed and invented, and Nick is doing following a lot of the properties and laws that you defined for electricity. And that would have been great to lead into the investigation, but for some reason it didn't work out that way. But I think that those are some of the things that it was meant to happen that way.
Definitely.
I mean, that's just the way it was meant to go.
So, besides the Great Lakes Paracon, what else do you have coming up? Any other events? Besides Deathwalker Season 4 premiering in October?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to the premiere on October 14th. I mean, I know that at Middle Point, my crew is hosting a public event. I think September think it's the second weekend in September or something, September 10th, September 9th or something like that, at Middle Point School. But other than that, no. I don't really get asked to a whole lot of events. I'm not like this big famous guy like that guy in the picture there.
And he'll go on any radio show and be like, I'm not famous. I'm just
Right.
doing investigating and just showing people that there is an afterlife. He's one of the most down to earth people you can meet.
Oh, Nick is great. Really, like he is one of the most down to earth people, and he loves to talk to people.
Oh yeah,
And just like hear their story. Like he will always try to go out of his way to make it happen. Which I actually love about the dude, because like there's been even situations at some of our locations where like we had a disabled kid that wanted to meet him really bad, and, we kind of sprung it on Nick, but I told him like, hey, we have this kid coming, he really want to meet you. Nick was like, oh yeah, absolutely. He spent like 10 minutes walking around the location with the kid, just talking to him. I thought it was great. It's just one of those stories. It's like, man, that shows Nick's character. Then that's a big thing with me, and that's why I like working with him so much, is because it's not just Nick, it's his cousin Justin,
Dan Class,
yeah, and Tessa, and Tessa's great too. Tessa's really, me and her have a little like bond over SpongeBob. It's kind of funny. Like half the time that we communicate, we're just like sending each other SpongeBob memes.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean and then Justin. I talk to Justin and Dan more than I do to Nick. Nick's he's got, I think they have like 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, and he's a very busy family man. He loves his family, and it's great. But he's busy, so it's hard to talk to him a lot of times when it's outside of like, what I mean?
Yep. I know. I just had him on the show in January, and he's the one that asked me to come on. I'm like, sure, why not? And then it's just trying to get the dates lined up and everything, because he's such a busy man. Like, it's crazy.
Nick is beyond busy anymore. It's like, honestly, a lot of times, like even especially when we're on set, like when we were on location filming, like there are times I have to tell him what a device is, what the name of the device is, how it works, like 4 or 5 times leading up to the actual shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Because his mind is on a million different things, because really the production is just him and Justin, and Dan will help out occasionally, but like they don't have this sound crew, they don't have any other crew members. So like the amount of work that Justin and Nick put in to filming is unbelievable. They do in 2 days what a
show does in like a week.
Oh yeah, with like 30 people.
Yeah,
like it's insane.
Awesome.
It is crazy.
So tell us, where can people find? I know you're pushing Deathwalker and everything like that, which I know you're a huge part of that and everything. Where can people find you? Your locations? Where can people find out about investigations and things like that?
Most of the stuff you can find on the Underground Paranormal Network Facebook page and the Instagram page. And lately, the Instagram page has been more or less the ghost boxes and stuff that I've been building, because when I upload it to my page, it goes to that. But I know it's facebook.com/theUGPN, so THEUGPN, just all like that. On Instagram, it's like the_UGPN. But like all those, the Underground Paranormal Network Facebook page and Instagram is really where you can find all the information on the locations. But most of the information can just be found on the flyers that we have posted on the page and everything. So yeah, that's and obviously I'm on Facebook and Instagram too. So I mean, I don't have a website. I'm not that. I don't have that much time.
You're busy.
I own the rights to a website, ITT Voices, but I don't have the necessary equipment. I don't have a laptop. I don't even have a computer. So like I can't do anything with it. And I have people that are helping me that are wanting to help me with it, but like it's hard when I'm working on it. That is but that's a lot. That's in the works. But for now I don't have anything. So.
Well, I will see you next month when in Wisconsin. I got my tickets for the investigation both nights. So
Nice.
2 nights at the asylum where
I'm excited.
locked up at, but
I'm very excited. I'm excited to see this place for 2 nights too. I'm gonna have fun.
There goes my daughter going away now. She's talking about she's gonna go see a movie tomorrow, so she's like, I want to get talked about it.
You just like sniffed on her like a linebacker, like you know.
Did the Heisman on her.
Walking.
Austin, but no, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Your insights to things have been absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what you come up with in the future. You're like a mad scientist over there just working on things.
Along with KD, and you guys are the mad scientists, that's for sure.
KD is the mad scientist. I consider myself the techromancer.
Okay, well, just make sure you wear grounding gloves and everything from here on, okay?
All right, I can do that.
But thank you so much, Austin, for coming on. We're gonna have to get you and the crew of Deathwalker on at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to. Nick, we'll figure it out.
Tessa, everybody else, like we're gonna have to get you guys on.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yep, I might talk to Dan about it. Dan's told me several times that Nick wants to come back on, so we'll just get it when Deathwalker.
When Nick's not so busy.
Right. Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. it's like these.
My guy's never not busy.
You'll get like a couple days throughout the year of random times that he's just available. It's like
he's like, I'm sitting at home. I got nothing to do.
Yeah, like that does not happen. He has to set aside time just to take time off. It's like, I mean, and I get it. Yeah, that's how it is for most people actually. But it's like very, very limited amounts of time does he get, and a lot of those times he's with Tessa doing vacations. So then even then,
vacation thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean they're just living life.
They're out there traveling. I see his posts.
It's awesome. It's awesome, man. Like I'm very, very jealous of them because they just, I mean, that just looks like so much fun, adventure. You know, man.
We can all live vicariously through them.
I like that.
Well, thank you again, Austin, and I will see you next month.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, thank you, Austin. Appreciate it very much.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Austin. I'm super glad he was able to join us. Again, just to do the final recap, giveaways ends next week. Go like our Unturned pages, Facebook page, then go follow our Spotify page. Take a screenshot on your phone, and then go back to our Facebook page and upload that screenshot to be entered. And then, of course, our sponsors, Warner Paranormal Preservational Society, Get Haunted, Enchanted Awakenings, and Expedition Entity. And then we have our new outro to premiere. Russ, are you excited for this?
I am. I just want to shout out, because we cross promotional shows here. So tomorrow I have on Compass Curiosities, I have John Curley of Haps coming on talking about Gettysburg and what he's done with several residential cases and everything like that. So should be a good show. And next week, who do we have? Oh, next week is Bree Hollingshead.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a me only show because Jenny's gonna be on the road traveling.
Yep, on the way home from Michigan Paracon, which I will be at this weekend. Come say hi.
Bree of the Get Haunted family agreed to come on, and I can't wait to talk to her. That's going to be an amazing show. She's done a lot of paranormal road trips. Jenny's over there repping the Get Haunted brand. I'm over here repping shameless plug of the
page. Just never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I don't know. Where am I?
I don't know.
But guys, thank you so much for coming out again for another episode of Unturned Pages. We really appreciate you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be happening. Our great sponsors, we Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, Get Haunted, Enchanted Awakenings, Expedition Entity, like, you know, and it's not even just our sponsors, it's our great guests that come on. And I will tell you what, you need to stay tuned because we have some great guests coming up here, and you may be surprised by a name or two coming up here soon.
Definitely. And some haunted locations are coming up on the show too. So I'm super excited about. We're doing 1 or 2 a month, so keep tuned.
So until then, guys, we'll see you next Sunday.
Yes. Let's see the new outro.